All right. So Morocco 3, the US 1. Morocco advances to the semifinal of the Under-20 World Cup, and deservedly so, in the sense that they scored more goals than we did, and so they deserve to go to the semifinal. We didn't help ourselves in this game, and obviously Beaudry will take a lot of the blame. Some of the defending also is a little bit questionable, as well as our front three, which frankly, this entire tournament, our front three has not really been able to produce. We've been relying a lot on our back line and our midfield in this tournament. And as we said earlier in the tournament multiple times, it is kind of just, it was a matter of time, right? That if you have a goalkeeper who's that poor and yet he keeps getting to start no matter what he does, it speaks to a lack of accountability. And then also the front three, Cole Campbell, Xavier Gozo, Peyton Miller, none of them really showed up for this tournament in the way that you would want them to, right? And so that is unfortunate and sad. It's not all bad, right? We still had a good tournament in many ways, beating France, beating Italy. And there are some interesting players here that I'm curious to follow their development. But it wasn't a complete team, right? This team's front line and goalkeeper was seriously questionable. And even though we did well to get as far as we did, in the end, we kind of got what we deserved. I think major question marks have to be asked why Beaudry started this entire tournament. When Cochin was pulled, okay, and that was outside of our control, Barcelona can pull him, and there's not much you can do about that. I understand that. But we replaced him with Gavin Beavers, okay? And fine, you start Beaudry in the first game, where he already made a ridiculous mistake, right? And he basically passed the ball to New Caledonia to score. But then even against France after that, he looked very shaky. Remember that long shot from Michal that kind of just went through his fingers, and we got lucky that it went over the bar. After that, it would have been the game to give Gavin Beavers probably, or even Durant Foray, to be honest, a chance against South Africa, because I think we could all tell at that point that Beavers was not going to cut it if we wanted to make a deep run in this tournament. But instead, we continue to start Beavers. He also looked shaky against South Africa. He looked shaky at times versus Italy too. And then it like we kept saying this the whole tournament, right? We kept saying this. Why does he's gonna cost us at some point? And he did today. And it's not just on Beaudry, of course. He'll take a lot of the fair blame, which he should. Um, sorry, Beaudry. Their names are similar, so I'm getting them confused. He should take a lot of the blame, but there are other players that should get some heavy criticism too, and honestly, so should the coach, Mitrovic, for allowing Beaudry to start this entire tournament. We didn't even try Beavers or Foray in that last group stage game, which would have been the time to do it, but we didn't, and we decided we were going to ride with Beaudry until the end, and in the end, we got what we deserved. Congratulations to Morocco. I thought we were the better team overall in terms of having the ball, being the protagonist, trying to create, but they did a good job of being defensively solid. They limited our chances and they hit us in transition. So, congratulations to them. Well done. They'll face either France or Norway in the semifinal. This is our sixth straight uh, quarterfinal, under-20 World Cup quarterfinal. It seems to still be our ceiling. And it's disappointing because after beating France and Italy, you'd kind of hope that this team could have maybe gone a little bit further. But it is what it is. Albert says we've made 6 straight quarterfinals and not a single semi or final to show for it. Yeah, yeah. And look, Tack doesn't have the link. Sorry, dude. I'm sending it now. To But I don't want to just talk about Beaudry this whole stream. Okay, the kid is 19 years old, and maybe he can use this tournament as a chance to take a hard look in the mirror and maybe try to turn his career around. But uh, he just seems to lack so many fundamentals that any goalkeeper needs. It's very hard for me to believe there's not another under 20 goalkeeper in this entire country better than Beaudry. Like Beaudry just seems like how did he get a MLS contract? Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
I
So
thought I was getting silenced here. I couldn't get in.
I gave you the well, I was going to say I gave you the Beaudry treatment, but Beaudry was allowed to keep starting.
Oh
No, I
yeah.
was saying earlier that, okay, I could understand after Cochin was pulled that you have Beaudry for New Caledonia and maybe even against France. I'm not necessarily a fan of benching a goalkeeper from one mistake, but South Africa was the perfect opportunity to give Gavin Beavers or what's his name, Duran Ferre a shot. Or why didn't we pull Julian Eystone? Honestly, why didn't we do what France did? Just play Duran Ferre and Beavers, right? Just don't replace Cochin. And then call him in during the international break. We could have Cochin for the entire knockouts.
I've never seen a team make a deep run with a bad goalkeeper. I've seen them
No.
make a deep run with a bad center forward, a bad winger, maybe a bad center back, maybe a bad midfielder. I've never seen a team make a good run with a bad goalkeeper. So it was bound to happen at some point with Beaudry. We've been saying this since the New Caledonia game when we saw
Yeah.
him look shaky with like one or two saves that he made, and then the goal that he just straight up gave them. Right?
Yeah. Gave it. Like that wasn't even, that was like basic. Like
No,
so
he
basic.
he he is just a terrible goalkeeper, and again, it showed, and eventually it came back to bite us. I mean, it bit us a few times throughout the tournament. Just didn't bite as bad because I guess we didn't play any opponent that actually tested Beaudry in a real way. But the little times that he was tested, that's it. But again, it's also not just on Beaudry. We'll talk about other players too.
Our front three was missing this tournament. Like we
Yeah.
we rode this whole tournament on our defense and our midfield. They carried us to the quarterfinal.
hmm
But if you don't have a front three that can do anything, which we didn't, Peyton Miller, Cole Campbell, Xavier Gozo were all disappointing this
Let
tournament.
me let me actually look at one thing here. How many goals we scored. I'll calculate this while you're talking. How many goals we scored and how many came from the front three. It might surprise many. I'll check
Yeah,
here for
if
you.
you include Zambrano and the three wingers, right?
Okay, so I'll get that for you. Just go ahead with the super chats and everything. I'll get that.
I mean, there's only one super chat. I already read
Okay.
it. But let's talk not just about Beaudry. There were other players who were quite poor, right? Xavier Gozo, poor. Now, look, Gozo is still eligible for the next Under-20 World Cup. He's 18. So let's see what Gozo looks like in 2 years. This is his first professional season with Real Salt Lake. Let's see how he continues to develop. Um, Peyton Miller also eligible actually for the next Under-20 World Cup. Um, so those two guys could be interesting to watch 2 years from now in 2027. Cole Campbell is not eligible for the next Under-20 World Cup. He's already, I think, 20, right? Cole Campbell.
He's turning 20. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And although I think his technical foundation is good, Cole Campbell, and he's 19, yeah. Although I think he has a decent technical foundation, and I think that he has good speed, his decision making is extremely, extremely suspect. And Zambrano, I'm sorry, he shouldn't have been in this roster. Zambrano isn't even in MLS, and he's not even lighting up MLS Next Pro. Like, come on, what was the point of bringing Zambrano? He has 5 goals in MLS Next Pro. Did we really think he was going to contribute at an Under-20 World Cup? I know he got that one late goal against France, but other than that, he looked so poor this tournament. And
Okay,
so,
do you want the numbers? Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
yeah, no,
So
let's hear it.
we scored 17 goals this entire tournament, which
Yeah,
means you're able to get 34 goal contributions there, right? 17 goals, 17 assists at most. The front three, the main one, which would be Cole Campbell, Xavier Gozo, and Marco Zambrano, they had 6 goal contributions. Which again, your front three, your main one, should be the one with the most out of everyone else. Just for context, Kremaski alone had more goal contributions than the entire front three.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Appreciate your hard work covering the under-20s, gents. Maybe this turns into a funny bit of trivia when Cochin becomes our keeper for the next 15 years. Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, Cochin's still not eligible. He's still eligible for Spain. But I think Cochin, to be honest, needs to go get a loan somewhere because he's not going to play at Barcelona. He's their fourth choice goalkeeper. We just got so unlucky that they had 2 injuries right before this tournament, and so Cochin had to go back. Personally, I think we'd call Cochin up for January camp. Like, why not? Bring him in, bring him into January camp, maybe even give him one of the games. Um, just, because he is the future of this team very much. Um, it is what it is, guys. This is it's sad, and I think it's particularly frustrating because we actually played well, right? We actually played well. I'm going to share the stats here. for the most part, we had the ball, right? 73% possession. Now, I know possession doesn't win games. We had 14 shots to their 7. Okay. We also had 3 shots on target versus their 3, and that
They
is
had
where
3 shots, 3
Morocco
goals. They had 3 shots on targets, 3
3
goals.
shots, 3 goals, which happens when you have a terrible keeper. We missed 2 big chances. They missed 1. We had 12 corners. They had 3. So definitely we were the protagonists of the game.
Why is
However,
Go ahead, sorry.
credit to Morocco, they did a good job of defending in a low block, and they did a good job of denying us, and we didn't create that many clear-cut chances. We had some opportunities, right? Luke Brennan with that miss was Wando-esque, right? Um, but in the end, guys, I mean, they took advantage of our weakness, and we didn't take advantage of theirs, you know? So it is what it is. What it is. It sucks to not once again to not go past the quarterfinal, but we didn't have the players really to make a deep run. That's the truth. We had the midfield to do it. We had the back line to do it. We didn't have the goalkeeper or the front line to do it, and that is sad because this was about as close as we were going to get in so long. So Bobby Lynch, yeah, missing both Banks and Akimboni hurt as well. Well, Akimboni we didn't call in. I don't know if he would have been better than Kohler. I thought Kohler was fine this
The
tournament. I
center
don't
backs
think
were not the problem.
no, they weren't the problem. I mean, would having Banks have helped a lot? Yeah, he can also score goals, as we've seen. And Banks with his distribution and his height and everything would have been really good to have. But obviously, Cochin was the big miss. Cochin was the one that, and to be honest, Julian Hall, Mathis Albert, both of them are better than this front 3 that we managed to
Yeah,
come with
I
together.
just like with the goalkeeper though. I still don't know how far we could go with the goalkeeper like that. I just don't
No,
know.
I know. I'm just saying, but like, it's a combination of the goalkeeper and a front 3 that really couldn't do anything. You know.
Hmm.
But you know what, guys? Really, with all under 20 games, Tad, can you pull up who won the last 3 under 20 World Cups?
Hmm.
I know Uruguay won the last one, right? 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uruguay won the last one. It doesn't mean anything really in terms of the long-term success of your national team,
Okay.
right?
Do you want me to
Winning,
go through the last few?
yeah,
2023 Uruguay. 2019 was Ukraine. 2017 was England. Okay, they were good in the next World Cup. They made it to the semifinals. Before that, Serbia, and then France. Okay, so that one's a team that was successful. That French team had Pogba, I think.
yeah. But
Um,
generally speaking, even if you win the under 20 World Cup, I think a better success rate is to get 3 or 4 guys that can be really good contributors to your national team for the next 10, 15 years, right? And to me, that's more important for the long-term health. Is it fun to win? Yes. Um, does it create excitement? Yes. Is it a cool experience? Yes. But Mexico has won the under 20 World Cup before and it
no,
did
no, no.
nothing.
They won 17, U17.
Oh, they won U17 and they won Olympics.
I shared it with you. Put it on screen. That way you can see everyone that has won. So you can see it there. Obviously, Brazil and Argentina that have it has translated right to the senior level. But
Those guys are
Portugal,
already good, right? Like
yeah.
those guys, you know what I mean? In
But
other
I
words,
mean,
some of the
Ghana.
smaller nations that have won the under 20 World Cup, it didn't impact their senior team in a major
I
way.
mean, look at Serbia, Ghana, Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah, right. It is what it is. I'm more curious, and we can maybe talk about some of these players and what their ceilings are or where they could possibly go, the good, the bad, the ugly, because there were some good performers in this World Cup, guys that I think we should try to keep an eye on. But I do think what this team lacked too, on top of, the front line and the goalkeeper was really high ceiling players. Like there's very few guys here that I think, oh, that guy's going to go on to be elite one day. That's just the truth. Acai after hours, I still don't understand that third goal. When he gets back in the box, he doesn't grab it with his hands. Not trying to rag on the lad, but still. Well, rag on the lad. I mean, guys, we have this culture of non-accountability in this country in soccer, where if you like, oh, let's be nice. No, no, you failed. You're representing your country and you failed.
Pete,
I'm sorry. You're going to get
it,
criticized. This is football culture. If you play like shit,
it,
you're going to get criticized.
it's also not a 12-year-old, right? You're not going to go there and rip apart a 12-year-old. We're talking about a player that has a professional contract. This is the U20 World Cup. These are I guess some of them are teenagers, but they're adults too. They're playing. It qualifies as a professional tournament, the U20 World Cup.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course it does.
So
They're all
it's
pros.
sure, like if a 12-year-old make mistakes and all that on the field, you're not supposed to rip him apart. It's a kid, like a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, honestly, a 14-year-old. These are 18, 19, 20-year-old players. They're professional players. I think every single player besides Zambrano, well, Zambrano also probably has a professional contract. I think every single player in our roster is under a professional contract.
Yeah, and most of them are playing pro minutes in MLS, right? Albert, I'm tired of the false nine BS. We need to develop a nine. Yeah, we do. But as the coach, you only have who's available. We don't, if you look at that under 20, there isn't really a nine. Honestly, we have a better nine playing for the under 17s, Julian Hall, right? He was probably not going to get released by the Red Bulls because they were still playing when this tournament began. I wanted you to give me tag. Let's talk a little bit about the players now, because I mean, the story of this game is the story of this game, right? We had the ball, we tried, we didn't create enough chances, and we had a shit goalkeeper. That's pretty much the story of this game.
I think we created enough chances, couldn't finish them.
I mean, okay, so in terms of clear-cut chances, there was that one for Luke Brennan.
One
That
in
was
the beginning
obviously
too, right in the
a
beginning.
penalty. For Gozo, yeah,
Yeah,
Gozo has to do
that's
better with.
two.
And then
The header from
the header,
Winder. I
Josh
thought that
Winder
was
header. That's
so.
4.
We had 3 or 4 clear-cut chances, and then we had half chances, right?
Yeah,
While Morocco kind of only had the goals, which
yeah,
weren't
they had
even
their 3
clear-cut
goals.
chances.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. And congratulations to Morocco. I don't want to take anything away from you guys because you won. You outscored us. You scored more goals. And I think you did a very good job defending and hitting us in transition at times, even though I think on another day we could have won that game. But good luck against France or Norway, whoever you end up facing. I'll be rooting for you. I like the Moroccan team. Yeah, we absolutely are not defending enough. We have 30 teams in MLS and we can't develop a single good 9. Where are they? Where are they? They're
Or
nowhere to be seen.
goalkeeper, for the matter. Goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's true. This is the best MLS goalkeeper. I mean, what about Andrew Rick for Philadelphia? Dude, Andrew Rick is better than this, but Philly probably wouldn't have let him go, is my guess.
Is Beaudry related to someone?
That's what's so confusing. Like, I can't believe Duran Ferre was worse. I can't believe Gavin Beavers was worse. I can't believe Julian I. Stone was worse. Right? I can't. This is like the fundamentals are not even there. I understand if you have a shitty tournament as a goalkeeper when you're young, especially, it can happen. But so many of his absolute basic fundamentals you need to even be a semi-pro player are just not there. And that's what makes it so baffling that we didn't even try somebody else. You know? 30
I'm
teams in MLS. Who's going to develop a good 9 for us? The last one that MLS developed was Ricardo Pepi. Right? And he broke through when? When he was 16. That was in 2018. That was the last time a good MLS 9 broke through. I don't want to hear about Aguimang. That's not, A, he wasn't developed by MLS. He was developed in college. And B, the less said, the better. Where is the next 9 coming through MLS? The only one that's coming through right now is Julian Hall from the New York Red Bulls. And he's what, 17? Darren Yappy, we had Darren Yappy at the Olympics and at the last Under-20 World Cup. He did nothing. He did nothing. And he's not under 20 anymore. He's 21. Right? So I'm not very excited about Darren Yappy. Umtiti is French, isn't he? Who's Umtiti? The good 9 is in Derby, duh. Full for defenses. Yeah, we're not developing players. MLS specifically is not developing, especially creative attacking players. That being said, let's do some positivity here, Tack. The top 3 performers for you in this tournament, and I'll give you my top 3. Let's see what the overlap is.
I'm just very curious. Can someone in the chat actually do some research? Is Beaudry related to someone in US soccer or MLS? Can someone just do that research for us? But go ahead. Sorry.
No, give me your top 3. Your top 3 top performers from this tournament.
Brooklyn Reigns, maybe today wasn't his best game. He wasn't terrible, but it wasn't his best game also in the whole tournament. But Brooklyn Reigns showed there was something there. I wouldn't place him as a high ceiling player, but I would place him as a player that if he develops, he can definitely be in the U.S. men's national team at some point.
Someone to watch.
Someone to watch. I I don't know. Like Winder had his ups and downs. I don't know if the dude was gas. He did manage to score 2 own goals in the tournament. um,
And had one other mistake too, right? In
I
was
guess.
it the South Africa game? Yeah,
Yeah.
he wasn't marking well in the South Africa game.
So I mean, it's one tournament, and he also showed some promise at the same time. But I guess the fullbacks were good for the most part. Westfield and Norris, I thought they were good throughout the turn. So I'll put the fullbacks, and I'll put what's his name, who I just mentioned,
Brooklyn Rain.
Brooklyn Reigns.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Nico Shakiris, Brooklyn Reigns, and Frankie Westfield for me. Were the top three performers. I liked Sakiris, and I actually remember Sakiris in the last World Cup, and I was hyped about this kid. I said, this guy is gonna be a very good creative player. And then he got injured. The 2 seasons after that, he was injured to start the season with San Jose, and he came back looking a little heavy and slow and maybe not his usual self. It does seem, though, he's starting to find himself again, and hopefully he can go on and have a nice career, maybe try to get out of Europe. I mean, get out of MLS and go to Europe. I think as creative tens go, he has something that not a lot of people had on this team. I don't know if you remember. I think it was that game against France where there was a long ball and he had it with his back to goal and he took it down. He took it down, held off his player, turned and beat him on the dribble. And then his cross was blocked. And then the subsequent shot from Frankie Westfield was blocked. It could have been a goal. And there was a lot of nice little through balls. And he's good on the dribble, left footed. Obviously, his free kick against Italy was very nice as well. I like Shakidis a lot. I really like Brooklyn Reigns as well. Let's see. Let's see what they become. But let's talk about the rest of them. I also do want to see Nolan Norris because left back is a position that our senior team is. I mean, we're starting Arston behind A Rob. So if there's anybody that could actually break through in the future, honestly, the highest chance right now, maybe Nolan Norris.
Yeah,
If
I
you think about
mean,
it,
Can he not become better than Arston? That's what we got
that
to ask
can't be that
ourselves.
hard, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, Taha Habrun also maybe not like someone super high ceiling, but the thing with Habrun is like the player profile is there. He's a technical player. He's kind of like still very weak on the ball,
yeah.
weak in the sense of physically. So as he grows, as he gets older, Habrun is definitely a player to, I guess, keep track of, see how he does. The problem with this roster is it goes back to what you said when the stream started. There are players that have the potential to be good. There's just no high ceiling player. And what do we mean by that? There's like literally no player that I see in this roster that I'm not even going to go as far as Pulisic and Balogun, which would be maybe our two highest ceiling players that we have right, or two of our best
Well,
players
Pulisic
now.
never played in an under-20 World Cup because he was scoring goals in the Champions League at the time.
Yeah, most of the best
Like,
players don't, but I don't even see a player in this roster at a McKennie potential level. I don't see that.
no,
Or
I think for that you have to go down to the U17s to find a few.
yes, so that's a bit concerning. At the same time, when you look at the U20 level, usually the better you get, sometimes your U20s get a bit worse because they're already
Yeah.
playing at a professional level. Now, we talked about Brazil and Argentina winning it. Those are two countries that they develop an over exaggerated amount of talent, more than even the Europeans, right? Sure, there are European countries that are better, but in terms of abundance of talent, those two countries develop too much. So their U20s is always competitive. But for the US, don't be surprised that the better we get, the weaker our U20 rosters will get. That could very well happen.
Let me give you a classic example. There's a good chance that Mathis Albert may never play for the U20s, right?
Yeah.
He's going to go to the Under-17 World Cup. And after the next World Cup, or even before the World Cup, the Senior World Cup, he could be with Dortmund's first team. If he's playing for Dortmund's first team, even off the bench, he should probably be with the senior team, right? We'll see how he does. But there's a chance that Mathis Albert is that good, he'll never play for the U20s,
Well,
right?
Pete, let's put it this way. The fact that Borussia Dortmund and Parma released Cole Campbell and Kramaski, that's actually a red flag that they released him. I mean,
Yes.
not Campbell, like Kramaski overall, he had a good U20 World Cup, but if they are important players or even off the bench, players that actually the coach sees as they need them, they wouldn't release them. Could be Adams
Yeah.
level. No, guys,
I
just look at where
so let
Tyler
me
was.
remind you, Adams at 20 years old was playing for Leipzig. Like you got to keep that in mind. And by the way, scoring in the Champions League semifinal
Tyler
or
was a
quarterfinal.
very good also MLS player when he left.
Yes. Whereas from Houston fans, Reigns has had a mixed season.
Mhm.
And I like Reigns. I want to continue to follow his development. I'm also going to look at Nolan Norris in the playoffs. Let's see how he looks for Dallas, FC Dallas. Um, and Frankie Westfield, for me, is somebody that I want to keep an eye on him. I don't think he has a super high ceiling, but he reminds me a bit of a Joe Scally. Is Kevin Sullivan playing in the Under-17 World Cup, Pete? Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to do a little plug right now. It's been fun. I know it sucks now because we got, knocked out. And by the way, there are a lot of Moroccan fans in the chat who are complimenting us, right? And saying that you actually played well and it was exciting to see. Thank you and welcome, by the way. I like Morocco. I think you guys had a dream World Cup going to that semifinal, stunning Portugal and Spain along the way. And I hope you continue to do well because I think it would be really cool to see an African team play with the big boys. And I love your culture and I love your food. So welcome and congratulations to all of you. And thank you for your kind remarks. Look, a plug for the Under-17 World Cup, guys. We said this before this Under-20 World Cup and we were proven right. This team plays very cohesively. And I thought mostly they did play quite well as a team and they worked hard for each other and everything. But it lacked the talent to really make a deep, deep run. Now, with the Under-17s, it's swapped. There is a lot of high ceiling talent for the Under-17 level, right? Kevin Sullivan, Mathis Albert, obvious examples. Julian Hall already has a lot of MLS experience, right? Which at U17 level is even more impressive than U20 level. There's Maxi Carrizo, who could be a very interesting midfielder.
He scored even. Carrizo came off the bench and scored. It was called out, but it was a nice goal that he scored for New York against who? Last weekend, whatever they played.
Right. And then you have some interesting defenders at the Under-17s. Ian James, who's a starter for Sporting KC at 17 years old. Very interesting center back, good on the ball, physical, fast, good in the air. I want to see him. Christopher Cups, 16-year-old, who has some minutes for the Chicago Fire. Ian Applewhite, we'll see if he gets a call-up. Pedro Guimarães, who is a starter in USL for a very good USL team, Orange County SC, and gets goals and assists for them as well, which I know it's USL, but even at 17, that's better than playing in MLS Next Pro. And so there are a lot of interesting players on their Under-17 World Cup. The consensus, though, with that team is they might not be quite as cohesive. And there are question marks about Gonzalo Segares, the Under-17 coach, as well as maybe some infighting within the team. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they look like, but join us. We're going to cover it the same way we covered this Under-20 tournament. It is next month. When is our first game?
Like November 3rd or 4th or 5th.
I think November 3rd is the first game. Yeah, we play Burkina Faso on the 5th of November. So it means probably the roster will be out somewhere in the last week of October.
It was submitted yesterday.
It was submitted, so it should be out soon then.
The players should know already. Like it should be out this week.
Yeah. I hope everybody who I mentioned makes it onto that team because it could be a very, very good team. It could also be a team that has a lot of talent but isn't very cohesive. For example, let me remind you of the 2019 Under-17 World Cup. Remember the same year the Under-20s made a quarterfinal? The Under-17s got knocked out in the group stage. And there were 3 guys on that team that are huge contributors today or were going to be. Gio Reyna, Ricardo Pepi, and Joe Scally. Right? Now, if you watch the Under-17 World Cup, none of them was very good. None of them was very good. But it was mostly a bad tournament. They really went and went far, all 3 of them, although Gio has been hampered by injuries ever since. But, even if they don't do well, the Under-17s, it does not mean that there's no talent in the Under-17s. I think there's more talent in the Under-17s than there are. There's also Chase Adams. This is true. Now, Chase Adams may even start over Julian Hall, some people are saying. We'll see what Gonzalo Segares does. He's lighting it up in MLS Next Pro. And from what I've heard, is a very traditional 9/center forward. So let's see what Chase Adams looks like as well. So there's a lot of interesting players to watch.
It's one thing we keep talking about here about youth tournaments. It's you want to win it because, why not? But it's much better to get 2 or 3 players that contribute to the senior team in a meaningful way than it is to win it. Like, for example, this U20 team could have very well made it to the semifinals, possibly the final, and the other one could get grouped. But from that U17 generation, we might get 3 players for the senior team. And this U20, we might it's very possible that we could get 0. Very possible. So, yeah, the results matter. And what sucks actually about this one is I was getting very excited for this team because it looked like there was a path to the final. And even today, it's even more frustrating when you lose a game where you were able to play well, where you were able to play better than the opponent. And ultimately, the main difference went with our front three and the goalkeeper. Our front three can't really finish or score, and the goalkeeper can't goalkeep.
I think it's ridiculous that Adam Bo. I mean, I don't want to come back to this kid and keep shitting on him, but I'm sorry. He's the reason we lost. Two of those goals don't happen if we have a decent goalkeeper. They just don't. Tack. Let's go over and give player ratings, not for the game, but for the whole tournament. Do you want to do that? And then we can close this stream. It feels like we've said all that needs to be said. I want to look forward to the Under-17 World Cup, which will be very exciting. And then obviously the senior team still plays Australia on Tuesday. So we'll see you guys there for that.
And we're coming from a good performance against Ecuador.
Yes, coming from a very good performance. So if you're new here, welcome. Welcome. Adam Beaudry, I wish there was zero. I don't remember him doing anything really good in this tournament. Every time he touched the ball, he looked nervy.
You're a 1.
He's a 1. Yeah, he's an easy 1. It's not even debatable.
Mm.
Frankie Westfield. I'm going to give Frankie Westfield a 7.5. I thought he was one of our best performers, actually. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give him an 8. Solid defensively, contributed a lot in the attack. I think he had an assist against France as well. Didn't he have an assist?
A few. He also seemed very good, like crashing the box, going for headers.
Yeah. No, I really liked Frankie Westfield. Someone to keep an eye on. I'm giving him an 8.
I'll give him a 7. 7 means he had a good World Cup, had a good U20 World Cup, Westfield.
Nolan Norris. You go first on Norris, because he had some mixed bags.
Yeah, but overall I thought he was good. Maybe not as good as Westfield, so a 6.5. I thought he was mostly positive throughout the tournament, but not as good as
also
Westfield.
Won the penalty today, right?
Yeah, 6.5 I think is fair.
I'll give him 7. 7 for Nolan. Josh Winder is an interesting one because 2 own goals. He still looked like our best defender. That's what's crazy. And the own goals could be unfortunate. It can happen. One is unfortunate, right? This particular own goal against Morocco felt like his body shape. Defending that was really weird and just like lacks awareness in that sense. Well, I don't know.
You got to be tighter to the defender because if you're close enough, the ball doesn't get enough speed to even go anywhere. Change the direction, just kind of like clams the ball with the player. He was a little too far, so once the ball was hit, it hit him, and there was enough power to beat the great goalkeeper that we had. So, yeah, look, it might be harsh, and Winder's still, in terms of talent, there's something there, and I'm definitely not giving up on him. I want to see how he develops. He's also center back. Center backs take longer to develop, but his overall tournament, I'll give a 5.5.
Yeah, I think so. I'll give him a 6. I
Slightly
thought he was
above
impressive.
average.
Slightly above average. With Winder, I think he needs to figure it out now. Like, what are you doing? You're at Benfica. You've been there for what, 2 years now? Okay, you're not going to make the Benfica first team. Fine. Why don't you go get a loan somewhere? Talk to Benfica. Honestly, get a loan to MLS even. Somewhere where you can play professionally. But I prefer the Netherlands. The Netherlands or Belgium even. Somewhere you can just
Portugal,
start to get reps.
A lower
Portugal,
table team in Portugal.
A lower, not lower division, same division, but in like, not as good a team as Benfica. I think that's what Josh Winder needs to do. Otherwise, he could risk just kind of disappearing. He's 20 now, right? He's not a teenager. He's at a crucial stage in his development, and I think he needs to start getting minutes. Ethan Kohler, I actually thought had a very good tournament. We never talked about him, mostly because he didn't make mistakes. Like, he didn't really do anything wrong. Seemed like just a solid, reliable defender. Maybe not as good on the ball as Winder, but also didn't score own goals, No. I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll go with 6.5, the same as Norris. I don't think he's a higher ceiling than Winder, but overall, I guess, didn't make mistakes, right? So rating-wise, I put him higher. Remember, these ratings are not who we rate higher or who has a higher ceiling. Even though I think at least Beaudry's rating is pretty fair overall with everything. But Winder, I think he has a higher ceiling.
Rating is generous.
Yeah, we couldn't go lower. But yeah, I'll give him a 6.5 for Kohler.
Okay. Brooklyn Reigns. I'm giving Brooklyn Reigns an 8. I thought he was one of our best players in this tournament.
Yeah. I'll go with an 8 as well. I would be between a 7.5 and an 8. He showed that he's one of the highest ceiling ones in terms of evaluating player profile. didn't really make any mistakes that cost us a game or one of the reasons. If anything, he helped the team quite a bit. I just think that today against Morocco, that first goal, when you get pulled like that, you got to flop in the midfield because he complained about the foul. But
Yeah,
if he flops and falls, the ref ends up calling it on the spot and just kills the play right there, especially in the midfield, right? The ref calls anything in the midfield. You
yeah,
touch someone.
and that's
So
street smarts, right? He can develop that over time.
probably learned today.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully. Marko Mitrovic doesn't learn though, so it's hard for the players to learn if the coach doesn't seem to learn.
Yeah, there's that.
Um, you go first on Shakiris.
Thought he was good and he showed that he has a not a high ceiling, but there's something there with him. He's a very technical player. Was decisive in the last goal by killing off the game with a nice free kick. I gave Brooklyn Reigns an 8, and I think Sakidis, I'll probably put him around the same. Put him around an
Yeah,
8. Yeah.
yeah, I'm giving Sakidis an 8 as well. Ben Kremaski. Now, this is going to maybe be a little bit controversial because Ben Kremaski scored the most goals in this tournament, and
Well, 3 was trash.
generally, 3 of them were against New Caledonia. Okay, um, Ben Kremaski, I still think is a little bit of an overhyped player. And I say that because I don't think he's really a creator. I think he's got a decent little foundation and he's athletic and he's built a little bit like a rugby player. But I don't see anything special there with Ben Kremaski. And I'd be very surprised if he got more than 300 or 400 minutes for Parma the rest of the season. Um, so I'm going to give him a 7 because of the goal contributions, and specifically the 2 goals against France were very helpful. But in terms of his overall play, I'm not going to give him as high as Shakiris or Reigns.
What did you give him? Say it again.
I gave him a 7,
Yeah, I'll give him a
mostly
7.
because of his goal contributions.
I'll give him a 7.5 also because of goal contributions. Played an important role, right? 5 goals total, and I think he got an assist. But he's also one of those players that, in terms of like the ceiling, I just don't see it with the player profile. People were saying that Parma is going to sign because I think he's on a loan with an option to buy. I think it's much more likely that he'll be back with Inter Miami. I don't know if they're going to
Or
keep him.
another MLS team.
Yeah,
I don't
or
think
they'll
Messi
trade him.
wants him there.
Yeah,
Or trade him.
Miami might trade him, right?
Colorado Rapids, they love like US flops.
Yeah, so I
Zach
mean,
Steffen, Adam Beaudry, Reggie Cannon.
yeah, I'll just have Kremaski at a 7.5. And it's mostly because of the goal contributions.
Yeah, same. Now let's get into the forwards, and this is where we're going to have some harsh words. I'm giving Cole Campbell a 2 for this tournament. Sorry,
Where did he get that extra point?
because he scored 1 goal. He wasn't as bad as Beaudry. Was he as bad as Beaudry? No. At least Campbell looks like he has the technical fundamentals. It's his decision making that was so poor, mostly, right? At least with Campbell, you go, okay, he's got the technical fundamentals to be a professional soccer player. Beaudry was just like, it's like that one guy. You know that meme with the 5 soldiers and there's a clown and it's like he thinks he's one of us? Like that was Beaudry. I'm giving Campbell a 2.
I'll go with Campbell with a 1 just because it's like I can't give him a point for he converted the penalty kick. He Beaudry being was our worst player, but Campbell to me was by far the biggest disappointment. He came in as a Dortmund player. And of course, we can't judge a player based on where they play, but the moment you are a Dortmund player, you're sitting on the bench for them, so you're part of their roster and you come into your U20 World Cup, you don't have to light up the opponents, but at least expect you to look a bit better than most players. And he looked better than most MLS Academy guys or MLS like backups. He was just abysmal for the most part. Everything about him in the game. And it looked like he also was arguing with Mitrovic when he was subbed out in a game where he was being horrendous. Like he should
Yeah,
have been
that was
subbed out.
weird. That was
Yeah.
weird.
Because Mitrovic, I don't know what Campbell said, but Mitrovic looked at him really pissed.
Yeah.
Um,
But I don't
I'm
know.
giving
Mitrovic should probably be pissed in the mirror because it was him that decided to start Beaudry this entire tournament. So I
No,
don't know.
of course, but at the same time, that doesn't take away any of the crap that Cole Campbell did too.
No,
So
for sure.
I'm just gonna give Campbell a 1. I just don't think.
Adrian says $1 for each of Campbell's points.
What points?
As in, like, if you gave him, I gave him 2 is probably what he meant. But if you gave him 1 and I gave him 1, that's yep, very bad. I'm going to give Gozo a little bit higher. And I'm also going to be a little bit nicer to Gozo because he is young. He was 18, right? He's still eligible for the next Under-20 World Cup. And he did get 2 nice goals against France. No, a goal and an assist against France. But other than that, he was quite poor. I'm going to give him a 3.5. Xavier Gozo.
Yeah, I'll give the same. He definitely wasn't as bad as Cole Campbell, and he was crucial for the French game. But
Yeah.
even if you remove that game, he wasn't good, but he was better than Cole Campbell.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That is
So
true.
I'll give him like a 3.5 also, or 4ish, something like that.
You go first on Peyton Miller.
I have to give him below Gozo.
Yeah. No, he was worse than Gozo.
And we gave Gozo a 3.5, but Miller, I guess he wasn't as bad as Campbell, but pretty close.
Yeah. He was close. He didn't get goal contributions in the way that at least Gozo had 2 goal contributions
I
and
guess
one against
2?
Caledonia.
Give Pay Miller a 2?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving him a 2. What's his name? The striker.
Zambrano?
Zambrano.
I'm just gonna give him a 2 also.
2, yeah. Very poor. This guy's like, I mean, if you're at the under-20 level, guys, right? And you're still playing an MLS Next Pro, I think that says a lot about your level.
Yeah,
Most of this under-20 team was at least playing in MLS.
I would say he's just a hard worker. That's it, which doesn't mean much.
Yeah, but his touch is bad. His combination, like, he can't do anything, really.
Let's put it this way: we played New Caledonia, where we scored 9 goals. That's a game, and he started, right? He started that game.
Yeah, he started that game.
Yeah, that's a game that, as a center forward, you should be getting your hat trick, right? That's where you stat pad. He didn't get a goal or assist.
No.
So,
And so we're not going to give every player on the, who's on the roster a rating, but let's give the ones who played a lot. So Taha
wait,
Habroon,
did we miss anyone else?
yeah, those are mainly the
Habroon?
starters, right? So now I'm going to add Taha Habroon and Matthew Corcoran. That's
Yeah,
kind of it in terms of guys who played regularly,
yeah.
right? Like, Baker Whiting got a few minutes here and there. Luke Brennan got a few minutes here and there, but not enough for us to give them a rating on the tournament. I thought that Matthew Corcoran had a pretty good tournament. I'm going to give him a solid 6.5. He came as a defensive midfielder. He did his job. Maybe not as good on the ball as Brooklyn Reigns, but I think an interesting player to watch. Reminds me a little bit of Aiden Morris, to be honest. Kind of that level of player. But I thought he had a good little tournament. 6 for him.
Yeah, I don't have much more to argue. 6. Also good, mostly good on set pieces, I would say. Decent. Who's the other
Taha
one?
Habroon.
Taha
Taha.
Brun. Yeah, he's one of those players that show that there's something there, and I think he can grow as a player. Not a high ceiling player, but he can definitely be a very good MLS player and maybe even play for certain leagues.
Netherlands somewhere one day,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. So, and in terms of performance, he was okay. I'm probably but I can't give him more than like a 6, like above average, but
No,
not.
yeah, 6 is fair.
Yeah.
Now it's time to evaluate Mitrovic because he had some good wins, right? France, Italy, lost to South Africa with the B team. I don't really hold that against him. The main thing I hold against him is this Beaudry decision. If you think about his starting lineups and his substitutions, like oftentimes we would say this is what we would do, and then Mitrovic would do that exact thing. So I actually thought we were pretty aligned with Mitrovic. And to his credit, he did have this team playing really well as a unit. They were fighting hard, they were pressing together, they generally defended well. Really, the big stain on Mitrovic is this Beaudry decision.
Yeah, and we don't even know if Gavin Beavers is worse or better, and that is the problem because he had the opportunity against South Africa. You said it yourself. He subbed a lot of guys in, right? Well, not sub. He replaced the starting 11, so he had that game to throw in
Yeah.
Gavin Beavers and just see what happens.
I have seen Gavin Beavers play for RSL. He's not as bad as Beaudry. I watched Gavin Beavers at least 5 or 6 games when he played for RSL.
And you can quickly see it, right? Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he has work to do. He was young, developing, and now he's in Denmark. Whatever. There's no way he was as bad as Beaudry.
And
No way.
Gavin Beavers is probably better than what you saw during that time.
Yeah, he's probably gotten better over time. Beavers just started in the Danish league. Surely he's better than a guy who has played pro. Yeah, I mean, the Danish league, MLS. Don't think the levels. I mean, probably MLS is better than the Danish league. but Beaudry just looks like he's like his dad knows somebody or something. Like it is kind of weird. Like when I was in India and I was coaching their under 16, not the national team, but they have like state championships. I was coaching Delhi's under 16 team. And so we held tryouts and I selected my boys. And then we were supposed to go by train to Ahmedabad where the tournament was being held. So I get to the train station and there's 7 guys on the team I don't recognize. And I'm like, what? So I go to the team manager and I'm like, who are these boys? And he goes, oh, they're on the team. I said, what do you mean they're on the team? We haven't selected them. And he goes, yeah, but their fathers know politicians and stuff. And one of them was like, had a pot belly. I'm not kidding, Tag. So I resigned. I didn't even go to the tournament. I resigned that day. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm out of here. That's what it feels like with Beaudry. Like the level is so obtusely far away from being a professional goalkeeper or certainly playing at a World Cup for his country.
It's, I mean, I have nothing else to add there. I've talked about this guy a lot, and we talked about how it would bite us at some point, and it did. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move forward. So Tuesday we play Ecuador, the senior team, and we
Australia.
play Australia after a good game against Ecuador. And then we go back to our regular programming until November. And November we'll have the Under-17 World Cups plus 2 games against Uruguay. And who's the other opponent, the senior team?
We played Paraguay also.
Paraguay. Uruguay and Paraguay, right? Or is it Uruguay? Is it Paraguay and Colombia? It's Uruguay, no?
No. We play Australia now. Then in November we play Uruguay and Paraguay.
Yeah, Uruguay and Paraguay. I thought so. And we'll also cover the Under-17 World Cup. That first game is on November 5th. Mark your calendars. Versus Burkina Faso. We'll probably cover the roster when it comes out because I think there will be some interest in this team. Other than that, we keep going.
Wait. Before we go, I just found this. I didn't know it was true. There were rumors linking Beaudry via Tom Bogert to Arsenal. 76 weeks ago. Serious. I swear. Let me see if I can find the actual tweet. But let me see, because someone shared it.
Oh wait, Mitrovic rating. We forgot to give Mitrovic a rating. I'm gonna give him a 4.
I gotta find this Arsenal dude. I gotta find this.
I'm giving Mitrovic a 4 because there's no justification for starting Beaudry as much as he did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll give him also like a 4 because I can't be too harsh on Mitrovic because he wasn't also the worst. It was literally Beaudry's the main thing.
Yeah, that's literally his big mistake, and it's such an obvious one. Like everybody can see it.
Dude, this was actually reported by Tom Bogert.
Do you want to pull it up?
I am not finding Tom Bogert's specific tweet, but there's so many accounts sharing because you know how X's like search engine is kind of off.
Yeah.
But if you go here, look at this. So this guy, Colorado Rapids, U.S. Youth International, Adam Beaudry's heading to Arsenal for a training stint. Tom Bogert. And they say
they saw him in training and sent him home right away.
Oh, okay. So it's not rumored. He went to train there.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit. That's also sometimes because of connections, right? You can go train with their youth teams. He didn't train with Arsenal. He trained probably with their under-18 team or something.
But this is actually this is what I keep saying. So sorry, Tom Bogert, about that because you didn't report on. Well, even though Tom, he's just given information, feeds it, and just puts it out there, so that's not on him. But what's kind of wild is this goalkeeper somehow managed to train with Arsenal's academy. Like, would you be able to? I don't know how it would get there.
No, they would destroy me.
No, just even via connections. Because you can't just go there like, hey, I want to train with the Arsenal Academy. They don't just put you there, right?
Yeah.
So this guy managed to train at the Arsenal Academy. He managed to play a U20 World Cup as a starter for the U.S. national team. What is happening? Like, who does his family or someone know? Like, I don't know. Like, just, I'm done. I'm done with this World Cup. I've said everything I had to.
Well, we tried our best, guys. We covered it. We tried to be here to like hype him up and help him out, and we will continue to do so at least until the end of the 2026 World Cup. After that, who knows? Anything else, Zach?
Hype up who?
I mean, not hype him up, but get people excited for this Under-20 World Cup, basically.
Yeah, we try to cover for y'all. Sorry, and also, to any one of the players' family members that we know are going to be watching this video and going to hate on us and all that, it's like, guys, just it's normal to be biased when it's your son, when it's your nephew. But I mean, just
But
check the
also,
comments.
if you want your kid to be playing professionally, this is probably the most tame criticism they're ever going to get.
Oh yeah,
So,
we're like the nice guys.
yes, we
We're
really are.
internationally they see us as softies, and that's probably what we
Yeah,
are actually. Yeah,
we probably are. So,
we're soft. Yeah.
tranquilo, tranquilo. All right, guys, thanks for hanging. Thank you for everyone who sent super chats. Did I miss anyone? Nope. I think that's it. Appreciate it. You guys have a great one, and we'll see you Tuesday for the USA versus Australia. Yes, Ayub Ranan, we are going to cover the Under-17 World Cup, just like we did this one. All right. Later, guys.